Mondello Park, 4 miles from Naas, County Kildare, echoes to the sound of highly tuned motorcycles. It's the circuit's big day. The Fingal Motor Club is in charge of affairs on the occasion of the Carroll's Race of the Year. There are over 160 machines entered from all parts of Ireland, as well as Britain. Well, the star of the show is a quiet but determined man from County Antrim, Joey Dunlop, who seldom races on short circuits such as Mondello Park, but who astride bike number 3 is the crown king of Formula 1, racing over roads such as Dunlop and the Isle of Man TT course. Joey Dunlop from Armoy stumbled across motorcycle racing as a teenager, but very soon he fell head over heels in love with the exhilaration of holding a racing motorcycle at speed. But he had few ambitions.
The really ambition was to win the TT, to win that slick one, something you could never dream of. Well, then it was, because I didn't really realise what the World Championship really meant. But now I think it's slightly different. It meant a lot to me. It got me off my feet. I've never really looked back since.
But now Joey Dunlop looks forward to his 5th year as a paid rider with a giant Honda concern. He's been 4 times the World Formula 1 champion, and we have the privilege of taking a front seat on board his 500cc Honda as he goes about practice. But what's the difference between short-circuit racing here at the 1 1/4 mile Naas circuit and the closed road variety such as Dundrod?
There's a lot of differences. A lot of people ask me that same question, and it's really hard to answer. It's just a different technique of riding. And the bikes have to be set up completely different as well.
Not only is Dunlop admired by his fans, he's appreciated for his skills by his opponents.
He's an excellent rider, very safe. I trust my life with him, really. He's very good. Joey, as far as I'm concerned, he's just one of the day-to-day lads who has been around for many years. He struggled through like everybody else, and it's just he's a very good rider, and he got the right brakes, and he ended up being a worse rider. And he's just still, when he's off the track, he's just the same as everyone else. Grand, you know. Well, Joey to me is the best. He's the guy to beat. Always the guy to beat. There's a lot to be learned from him as a rider, because he doesn't, particularly as a road racer, because he doesn't crash very often. Which is an awful lot to be said for. It's hard to ride the roads at the level that he rides at and not crash. So obviously he's reached some stage of perfection.
I think he's really safe. He's good. He's one of the guys who's really good to dice with, because you can ride so close, you can almost touch, but you feel 100% safe, and you're confident that he will, he won't take you down or anything like that. He's absolutely, like he's on rails on the bike. He's superb,
From what I've seen, following him and passing him on the odd occasion, he's very good at slicing fast curves. He seems to be able to keep the bike upright through the middle of a fast curve, when other riders are sort of hanging the bike up completely on the ground. Seems to have a knack for that. I've seen 1 or 2 riders like that since I've been over here. I think the late John Williams was one, and Tom Heron to a degree as well. But they're the only ones I've seen. And he's obviously gifted. He's got this talent which, has earned him a lot of money and gets him the results that he's had.
Yeah, he's very, very understanding, because the man has a great mechanical mind. He understands the machines. He's very easy in machines, and he can explain a problem to you because he knows exactly what he's talking about.
But just watching Joey's enough. I mean, to watch Joey anywhere, you learn so much. Sit and watch Joey at the corner, you learn everything about him, kind of thing, You learn how to use it, how to take that corner, if he has everything right,
He's a very quiet guy, and, he doesn't have much sort of chat at all, really. But he does his talking on the track, He's the fastest man on the road circuits, without a doubt.
Most amazing character in the sense that they claim the sportsman, superstar, and it's never affected Joey enough. Joey has managed to retain, and I think that's what the Irish people like. He's managed to be himself. On the track, he's the best. There's no question or doubt about that. I'll defend that right with anyone. But he lets his right hand do his talking. He suddenly hasn't got the latest clothes. He's not whining and dining. He's a family man with his children. Okay, he's got his bit of business now for the future of the pub, which will do whenever he finishes motorbikes. But I don't presume that's immediate, because he's still on the way up. I mean, this has probably been his best year ever. So no, you're talking about a guy who we were all sitting together in the pub, Mike,
You wouldn't single him out as being, you know, the Freddie Spencer or the Barry Sheen with the clipped hair and the beautiful cravat. No, out on the track, he gives us all the pleasure, and normally then he's just an ordinary 5'8" like the rest of us.
Like my brother-in-law started me racing. I never had no interest in it at all. I went to a couple of races along with him, and that was that.
What age were you that time?
I was 17 then.
Who was that rider? Is it your brother?
Mervyn Robinson.
Mervyn Robinson. And then you took up racing yourself?
I took up racing in myself, and that was it.
And did you actually finance yourself from the start?
My dad, yeah, it was out in my mother started my home.
Was it? Yeah. Tell me, those years, were they tough?
They were more, what would you put it now, more exciting, you know, at that time. You know, you really enjoyed it a little better. Now there's a lot of pressure, and bikes it's a lot more expensive, and it's really difficult now. You know, at that time, it was more or less a road bike, and you tuned it yourself.
Then you came across, I think it was John Ray, was it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Was it at Mondello he gave you his first?
That was the very first one I rode for.
Yeah. Tell us about that. That was an Aramaki, wasn't it?
No, it was actually a Yamaha.
Was it?
I was riding an Aramaki on my own at the time, and his rider didn't turn up. And it happened a couple of times with him, and he says, that's it, finished. And he asked me would I take a run on it, and that was it. I was walking from that right up to joint Honda.
So you won on that. You won many races after that. Then I think Suzuki had a look at you, or you actually had one or two rides with Suzuki, isn't that right?
I had one or two in 1980 with Suzuki. I was actually out to help them to win the championship. Take it from Honda. And then the following year, then I went back to Honda, then to get it back again.
Did you know that people were saying at that time about Joey Dunlop, well, he'll never make it, he's put it very bluntly, he's from the sticks, and he's a country boy, he'll never make it with a big works team. Did people say that to you at that time? Or
after that, a lot of people thought it would never really happen. You know, but I had ready in 1980, I beat the Hondas and Suzuki's at the TT, you know, and I was starting to worry them a bit.
You had him very worried. In fact, that's why Honda took you on. Isn't that right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, but did it worry you what people were saying that you'd never make it as a works rider because you were a little bit rough at the edges and that sort of stuff? Did that worry you at all?
No, it didn't. I think at the start people didn't realise, you know, I was working night and day just to keep going motorbike racing. You know, I think people didn't realise how difficult it was at that time.
The harder he gets it, the better he likes it. I mean, at the TT last year, the exhaust fell off, the tyre had to be changed. He was a minute ahead, then he was 30 seconds behind, then he was 50 seconds in front, then he lost time again. In other words, a tremendous battle. He just doesn't know how not to be first. And you see, the beautiful thing is, sir, that the Honda setup is a bit like a marriage. He's had 4 or 5 years now with it. And as a result, they respect his judgment, he respects their judgment, and together they work as a superb team.
But when it comes to his contract, does he hard on that?
I do all that.
You do
Joey doesn't know anything about the contract until weeks later. He says, well, are we all set for another year? That's honestly the truth.
Probably that's what makes him then, isn't it?
Oh, I'm convinced of it. If he got himself all uptight, you see, motorcycle racing now is moving from the club level to Joey's level. If he got himself so involved in all the other things, but lucky enough, I like to think, he has a good bunch of people around him. The Honda people through Barry Simmons set up his bikes. He gets on with his riding, which is what he's got to think about. I can do the paperwork and the bits and pieces.
Right, but I mean, what stops him from being conned? I mean, too many sportsmen, like boxers and athletes and other people are conned. Well, are you the person that stops that? Or
well, I hope so, yes. And also the fact that the sport we're in, I heard Joe say earlier there that it was a good sport for all classes, creeds and types, and it's not a sport with a highly exploited situation in it. That hasn't happened. There's no betting, for instance, in motorcycle racing, so nobody's coming to him about fixing races or anything like that. It hasn't happened, and a lot of people have said, no, you're worth that money. I have some very good contacts with the Shell Oils and the RI Helmets and the Honda people and all the people who are involved with Joey. They treat him properly, and he gives them the return.
I don't really get to one for money, because I think if you did that, it would ruin the sport, you know. I really enjoy it. I treat it as a sport. You know, and if you went out for money, you would treat it as a business, and it's not a very good thing.
Will you change when it becomes a business? Will you quit, or what? When do you reckon you get fed up with it?
I don't really know. Once I stop doing the Formula 1, to stop for Honda, I'll start and come back to the small meetings again. You know, just ride around at home then.
But I mean, the amateur riders here at Mondello Park like to ride against you because they feel that you're a guy who will give them a chance, a fellow who is there for the sport. I mean, on a day like today now, are you looking forward to the 3 rides you'll have today?
Oh, I'm really looking forward to it, because you know, this weekend to me, you know, it's just down for the bit of fun along with all the rest of them. You know, I'm not really here because it's Honda. You know, I'm not going out to one, I'll just go out and have a lot of fun. You know, I really enjoy riding it.
And you won 2 races yesterday at Kirkstone.
That was much to say, you know. There was a lot more pressure yesterday because there was a lot of English riders over. I want to beat them.
Yeah, but you have a fair bit of pressure here now. I mean, there are up-and-coming riders like Gene McDonald and these guys who are, you know, let's face it, are good riders.
I would say I'll probably some of them will want it today, you know, because they're really going to put this on.
Yeah.
It's difficult because my bike's not sitting around here very well.
Now, your bike is more for road racing than short circuit, is it? Explain the difference, if you can.
Well, I can't really tell you the truth. My bike up around here is too wicked. You know, I can't open it up.
Up on the back wheel straight away.
It's on the back wheel all the time. Yeah. It's giving a lot of trouble.
What sort of brake horsepower are you pushing out?
Oh, about 134. No, it's a lot of power.
So I have a 500cc motor.
500.
Yeah.
250 is not so bad. I'm going as quick in my 250 as I am in my 500. So I'm really looking forward to the 500. Developing a new one. They didn't tell me a big lot about it because they weren't. The Honda Britain people didn't know a big lot about it. They just told me I'm getting a completely new bike.
Very, very competitive, very single-minded, very determined man too.
Yeah, can he enjoy himself after a race, or can he let the old hair down with the crew, or?
Oh, very much so, and he also enjoys his racing. I think the day he stops enjoying the racing, I think he'll hang up the leathers.
I don't come from County Antrim or Ballymoney, and I had to take a special course in understanding some of the wording and some of the conditions that they talk about. But you see, this is the thing, he is very much his own man. He is very much orientated with his own people, and that's who he works best with. By the same token, a measure of the man is that now with the English people who deal with the Honda bikes, Nick, his own mechanic on the Formula 1 Grand Prix team, he relates to excellently, and I think he's got such a stature that if Joe said put the back wheel in the front, they now would do that also.
Oh, they do, and if there are any problems with it, they'll make a new one in Japan and fly it straight over. You know, they're really going to it in a big way because Formula 1's more or less development of a road bike. You know, and they really treat it, you know, as a job to them to develop the next year's bike.
Yeah. Joey, tell me about your private life. I mean, you have gone from being a bike rider to being a publican, is that right?
That's right.
How much time do you spend in the pub?
Not a big lot during the year when I'm riding it, not very much. But I don't know, that's a wonder whether I'll keep on, whether I'll go back to the pub again or whether I'll just let the people who work on it sit in it at the moment.
Yeah, the pub is in Ballymoney, right?
It's in Ballymoney.
Do you find a lot of motorcycle people coming in there to meet you?
They come from all over the place. All over Ireland come from.
Yeah. But was it a sort of a diversification on your part, or was it? Are you enjoying running the pub, or?
Oh, I'm enjoying it. It's something different. You know, I really got the pub to after I stopped this.
What are you interested in other than that? I mean, are you interested in other sports, or?
No, not very much. Maybe darts or pool or something like that. Yeah, you know, play a bit of that.
You often think about boating because you had a rather horrific accident before the TT this year, didn't you? Tell us about that accident.
Well, it was... not much you can say. Scared me anyway. Yeah. No, we had hit rocks and it.
You actually took a boat to take your bikes across to the Isle of Man. That's and right. you hit the rocks.
Do that nearly every year because we ride at home on Saturday. We can't get over for Monday, so we take a fishing boat. Half I did that hundreds of times. Yeah, that's more or less part of the DT.
Yeah, right, and the fishing boat sunk?
Yeah, it sunk.
Can you swim?
I bet, but not no conditions.
But you were lucky, weren't you?
We were very lucky.